Hello, angel babies. Welcome to my channel. My name is Trisha, and this is Trisha's Temple. Thank you so much for being here and supporting me as a little baby creator. I'm very excited for today's reading. I was debating between a few different topics for today, and then more and more things kept pointing me towards this theme around trusting yourself. And then as I was getting ready, I was noticing that there were multiple things going on around heart chakra, throat, third eye, and I was even already wearing a blue sweatshirt. And then everything just kind of pieced together. So I'm excited to get into it. Let's look at your options. First, we have this moss agate. Very beautiful. It's like this dark green. It's a little bit of clouding in it. Then this one is a pistachio calcite. Super cool. And this one is a tree agate. And I will do the breakdown of the reading when we get to your reading. So take all the time you need to choose your pile, and I will see you there. Love you. Bye. Hi, pile one. If you chose this moss agate, then this is your reading. I'm going to go ahead and lay out your cards now. This card is going to represent your current level of trust with yourself. This is going to represent your higher self's level of trust, or like the ultimate level of trust that you could have with yourself. Then this is going to be what's blocking you from having more self-trust. And this is how you can build more trust with yourself. And then we will do confirming cards as we get into it. Okay, so let's look at this first. Harmony, this is your current level of trust and your higher level of trust. Then what's blocking you? Water the things you care about. It ain't always gonna be dirt. And the blue jay, family, loyalty, communication. Okay, so what I'm seeing for your current level of trust with yourself is that you might actually have a lot more trust with yourself than you even realize. Maybe you're just not giving yourself as much credit as you deserve, as you could, and kind of like acknowledging that the intuition that you've had throughout your life was your intuition speaking. That the moments when you made a decision and stuck to your guns, or stood up for yourself, or had realizations and went forward with that intuitive nudge, all of those things, all of those moments were leading you to where you are now. And it was like this cumulative process that built up this high, quite a high level of trust with yourself. And now you're coming into a greater level of harmony and balance with yourself around that third eye type of awareness of like, you know what? I actually have been tuned in for my whole life, really. And now it's just about almost like going back and pinpointing those moments to solidify that trust. And I think that that's something that you might be doing right now, or that you will be doing soon, that's helping you to have that more, like a greater sense of calm within yourself, within your body, within your emotional center. I'm taking a nice deep breath right now. Maybe you're somebody who like will start talking really fast or kind of like get ahead of yourself when it comes to feeling like you need to make a decision really fast, or that your ideas, your plans, your dreams need to happen immediately. And one of the things that you're doing in building trust with yourself, or that is showing you where you are at currently, is acknowledging that you're allowed to slow down, that you're allowed to take a breath, take a beat, to rest. And it might be bringing up a bit of disruption in the harmony, but it's actually like a recalibration of the balance. That it might feel like the scales are being thrown off. Like you all of a sudden poured a whole bunch of water in one side, and so now the other side of the scale is like being like popping up. Or like if you were on a teeter-totter and one person jumped off the teeter-totter, and so now you're on the ground. But what it's actually doing is allowing you to recalibrate, is the word that keeps coming, to come forward, for your intuition to come forward more profoundly, resolutely, more substantially, and be in the driver's seat instead of it needing to be so much of your old programming, of other people's voices. That your voice, your dedication to yourself, your trust with yourself is actually, you're able to pick it out from the mass of voices. Like if you were in a crowd of people, you could pick out your voice from that crowd. Yeah. Okay, I want to read what harmony says in the guidebook. This is a new deck for me, and it has this really cool breakdown. So let's see. Harmony. Key themes: being in harmony with yourself, with your environment, finding peace, overcoming inner conflicts, inner peace, the relationship potential. So this is the love oracle, so it's about love, but that includes self-love. Lies in feeling in harmony with oneself and with each other. The adventure. Especially in times when we face great challenges, we long for a feeling of inner peace and balance. We desire harmony with ourselves and our environment. and we strive for serenity, acceptance, contentment, and love. Sometimes, however, it is not so easy to achieve this inner state. It is possible that we keep thinking about something over and over again and cannot switch off, so the feelings associated with it are permanently present. Maybe you're in a situation where you want a partner at your side with whom you can be in harmony, who is your rock, who catches you, and with whom you have the feeling of coming to peace. It is also possible that the card indicates that your partner needs harmony with you. Feel where the theme of harmony plays a role in your relationship or love life. Okay, I'm not going to read the rest of it, but one thing that stood out to me in that was your inner state, your inner harmony versus your environment and what's outside of you, whether that be other people or work, whatever it is that's outside of you. And I think that one way that you're building trust with yourself, or a state that you're in currently, might be that you actually have a lot more stability, and like, let's say like your vibration is quite high, and when you're around people who are in a lower vibration or who just, see the world through a different lens than you, it can feel jarring, it can feel uncomfortable, and you might still be having a hard time almost accepting that you are different and that is a good thing, or that you want to be that the rules that you might still be in the process of creating a system or a set of quote unquote rules for yourself that feel harmonious, which would include things like how much time to spend with people in public versus how much time you spend alone. Things like how to be like how much independence versus how much togetherness with the people in your life. How much you feel drawn to things in the 3D versus how much you're drawn to things in the 5D. Okay, so let's look at your higher self's level of trust. Seems like you're already in a pretty good place, and so let's see what your higher self brings to the picture. The crow. Actually gonna grab the guidebook. I feel like the crow is a messenger, and I actually learned just yesterday, I think it was, maybe it was today, that crows and ravens and parrots all have the ability to mimic and like create things like animal sounds, or to give like a loving little nudge to you, or just interact with people. Oh goodness, where's the guidebook for this? Hello, where'd you go? Hello, mate. Oh, it's buried under this. I see it. Anyway, so I think that could be a message to you that your higher self is actually a lot more present with you on an ongoing basis, that your higher self isn't like some separate entity floating off in the void that you aren't a part of, that's not a part of you. That your higher self, this level of trust that you're seeking, that you're wanting to build, is actually a battle. This is an interesting message. A battle that you've already won. That's what I'm getting from like this sword and helmet. That your higher self doesn't feel the need to duke it out with anyone to like prove yourself, or including to you. And that it's kind of giving like this Empress energy of, hello, here I am sitting on my throne, and I will receive those who come to me, those who have a gift to offer me. Yeah, okay. Yeah, interesting. The Crow, spirit of surrender. Not every battle deserves the same energy. Not every battle needs to be won. The spirit of the Crow asks you to understand that part of being a warrior is accepting the uncertainty of life and recognizing that sometimes you simply don't have the answer. Being the hero is knowing which battles are worth fighting. Not everything deserves your precious energy. It also means knowing which battles you must step away from if that means keeping your peace, and which battles you must lose without that meaning giving up. Life is not about winning all the time, it is about learning. So, if right now you must take off the armor and rest, do it. Don't ask yourself for more than your spirit can give right now. What you can offer at this moment is enough. In balance, learning, restoring, and preserving your energy, avoiding unnecessary conflict, surrendering. Okay, so I feel like we were talking about a lot of those themes in terms of where you are right now, that you are trying to find some of that surrender, some of that sense of which battles do I want to fight? Where do I want to put my energy in terms of how much time I'm spending around certain people in certain places, how much in the 3D, how much in the 5D? What do I want to invest my energy in? And that process, your higher self knows what is like your ideal set of, like, the scales are very ideally balanced for your energetic system within like the higher realms within your higher self. And I'm taking a nice deep breath again. You don't have to outpace yourself. Outpace the clock? Okay, like when you have these tasks to do, when you have a dream that you are wanting to accomplish, these visions in your mind, your higher self moves towards them or attracts them through surrendering. That it's very much that the trust that this, your ideal loving self has, comes from a place of I know that it's inevitable. I know that I don't need to force anything that I want into being because it's already mine. It's already there. It's like when you're watching a movie and you're not, especially like a movie that you've already seen, you're not really stressed out that the character is going to have their dreams come true, or that the protagonist is going to fall in love and be together with their love interest at the end, or that they're gonna get what they want, because that desire within you is pulling you towards your destination. But it's not so much that like there's some final destination that you're trying to get to. You're just trusting the journey, trusting the experience of the desire, and following the yellow brick road, if you will. Interesting messages that are coming out. Okay, so as for what is blocking you from this level of surrender and serenity, like a greater level of trust with yourself, is this. What are the things you care about? It ain't always gonna be dirt. The simplest message that's coming out is that you, like we have been talking about, you have already planted a lot of seeds. You have already done a lot of the work. Now it's just a matter of like doing the basic daily things, creating some of those systems and allowing them to work themselves out. Like it reminds me of that, like what they say of, if you plant a seed and then you keep digging it up to see if it's growing, then it's going to take a while for it to grow. It's probably not going to work very well. It's hard for it to grow its roots. Or like the whole, like a watch pot, it takes a while for it to boil. That if you water the plant and you allow the sun to shine on it and you allow the nutrients of the earth to sustain it, then the plant will grow. And for you, like what is your water? What is your sunshine and your dirt? Those things are what, if you're not allowing yourself access to those things, that's what would be blocking you right now. If you limit yourself in pleasure, if you limit yourself in whatever is nourishing to your soul or nourishing to your body, then those are the things that are going to keep you from building that trust. It's just all about like the tiny little things. Now I'm thinking of, I was raised Mormon, and they had this whole saying that was like, church, pray, read. So those were the like 3 things that we were supposed to do, and if we did those, then like we couldn't stray from the path. That if we read our scriptures and we prayed and we went to church, then we would be safe. And now I don't believe that that's true, because clearly I left and I did those things very diligently, very obsessively, if I might say. But maybe there's a message for you in that as well. Just that to give yourself some reprieve. You also don't need to over water your plants or stand out in the sun so long that you're getting sunburned. That whatever your, like, let's say you chose 3 things to get you to your destination. Like, maybe it really is drinking water, maybe it really is eating nourishing foods and going on a walk or something. That those 3 things would really be like foundational for you. And that if you were to like fall off the bandwagon for a day or multiple days, that you would allow yourself to get back on and not beat yourself up for it. Or that if you spent a lot of time doing something that you knew wasn't so nourishing for you, like maybe it's giving, the message I'm hearing is like moderation in all things, even in moderation. That sometimes it's okay to splurge. Sometimes it's okay to have a wild and crazy moment. That you don't need to be so reined in all the time. Okay, and as for what will help you build more trust, it's family, loyalty, and communication. So from this, I'm hearing that it's who you surround yourself with. Who are you loyal to? And who are you expecting yourself to have good communication with? Are those people also people who value similar things to you, who would be nourishing and pouring into you just as you pour into them? That the way that you're going to build trust with yourself, one really profound way that you're going to do that is by having people around you who see the good in you and who celebrate that, who point out little things that you do that are and now I'm like doing like the chef's kiss, like buenissimo, like you do it in this like very special way, and that helps you to see little parts of yourself that maybe you didn't notice before, or that you're seeing them in a new light. That sometimes when we're just in our own little bubble, we don't always appreciate something as much as we could, or we're able to connect with energies around us that help us to be buoyed up, like be supported in a way that when we're having a hard time trusting ourselves, it's like the song, "Let me love you and I will love you until you learn to love yourself." And I don't think that you necessarily, that it's necessarily that extreme. I think that you do love yourself. I think that you do trust yourself quite a lot, but that there are still moments when an old wound or pattern will emerge, or you'll be facing a new part of your path, whether it's because you are going after your dreams or you are in just facing a new experience, and these people challenge you in all the right ways, that they tease you in all the right ways, that isn't hurtful but playful and lightens the load for you. Okay, let's get some clarifying messages to finish off. This is the Woodland Fairy Tale Tarot. I just want to say thank you so much for being here. If you are enjoying this message, I would be very grateful for you to like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. Ooh. Okay, let's see. Can you see this? Oh, let me check. Little check, see. It's cute. It's cute. Everybody. Roll over. Roll over. You guys know that song? It's like 10 in the bed and the little one said, roll over. Which, you know, that kind of fits the vibe of the Six of Cups, because it's all about the nostalgia. Oh, there's some boobies. We're gonna put your stone. I want you to still be able to see her cute little face though. And last but not least, how do you build? Or, alright. Wow. Okay then. I'm standing up. Skewing everything up. Just a smidgen. Okay. So, as for the clarifying on harmony, yeah, you know, I think that it's going to come down that, like, right now you're in a place where you might be going back, like I said, and reflecting on a lot of things from your past, from your childhood, even from experiences that you had all throughout your life, where you felt like the best, most alive, carefree version of yourself. The times when you felt that it was the easiest to express yourself, the times when it felt the easiest to share your inner world with other people. And I was actually today at a duck pond. I don't know if these are geese or ducks, but it was just so funny watching these ducks interact with each other. And I was thinking that those ducks just don't really have much to worry about other than what their body is doing. Like, they don't, I mean, maybe they have thoughts. I don't know. But humans really complicate the whole living experience. And that one way that we can build more trust with ourselves, that you are building more trust with yourself, is by getting back into your body, by remembering the experiences of your life where your body felt connected to the earth, to being a human, and that it didn't feel so uncomfortable to be human. Yeah. And your higher self over here is hanging out in the 10 of Cups, which makes a lot of sense. That this self-trust that you're building is going to bring ultimate emotional fulfillment. That you're going to feel it's funny that all of these cups are just kind of like, it's almost like you don't even need to worry about, it's going back to the surrender thing, you don't even need to think about your cups being, whether they're full or not, because you know that you can go over there to the water and fill them up at any time. That there's this ever-present source that you are connected to, and you're not off, like, you don't need to sit by the spring and like be constantly filling up your cup. So much, but that you are always connected to that source, that you are always connected to your personal needs and wants, and that your trust is so tuned in to when you are overgiving or when you want to give more, and that would feel more fulfilling to you. And that whatever your like greatest heart's desire is on its way. It's already in your heart. It's already with you. So as for how you are going to, or what is blocking your trust with yourself, especially in conjunction with the card, the little card with the dirt. I actually want to read this from the book as well. You guys are getting a lot from the books today. Ten of Swords. Okay. The Ten of Swords represents an ending. In life, everything comes to an end, whether it's a project or a relationship. Don't be afraid. Something is simply over. And from here, you can start again. With the previous cards, you worked through challenges, but now you can go further. However, there's also a more subtle and equally valuable message. Avoid wallowing in self-pity, as you may already be over it. When looking back, smile at what caused you pain, because now you can overcome it. You've had many adventures. This one has come to an end. Practice the art of detachment and embrace new horizons. I feel like detachment has been a theme of your reading. And that, goodness, hang on. Okay, I'm back. I'm in a bit of an interesting setup over here. So thank you for your patience. So what I'm noticing about the Ten of Swords is that you might be experiencing or being offered an opportunity to reflect on some of the things that you've been expecting of yourself, been dreaming of or imagining were on the horizon for you. And that as you are experiencing some sort of ending, some sort of close of a cycle, that you're realizing that you don't have to take certain parts of yourself, certain dreams, certain aspirations with you into the next cycle because they no longer align with you. And that something that is blocking you is believing that you have to, like, for example, if you did once really want, the example that's coming to mind is to be a lawyer. If you once wanted to be a lawyer and now you realize, you know what, like, I thought that I wanted to be a lawyer. I've been in school to be a lawyer. But now that I'm here, now that I'm studying this, it's not really fitting with who I am and what I want. Maybe you've learned more about yourself in this past season of your life, and you've come to find that no, actually, you really want to do psychology, or you really want to do something related to sports, or like sports medicine. And whatever it is for you, whether it's a change in what you're studying, a change in jobs, a change in relationship, a change in even just some hobbies that you used to think were really fulfilling and now they just aren't, that something that could be blocking you right now is believing that you have to stick it out with those things simply because you started, or simply because you wanted those things for a long time. Like, maybe they have already served their purpose, that desire that you had wasn't all for nothing, that it was serving a purpose in getting you to where you are now, that it taught you the lessons that it needed, and now it's ready to go, and it's passed off the baton to the next desire that is going to carry you forward. And maybe you are feeling some sense of fear or concern around, oh, can I even trust my desires? Can I even trust my aspirations and what I want, that if this season that I'm in right now isn't going to last, is it worth it? Is it worth it to follow this path if it's just going to end? And I suppose that's a question that you'll have to answer for yourself, of if you knew the end of the book, if you knew the end of the movie, would you still want to read it again? Would you still want to watch it? If you knew that when you play a game that it was highly unlikely that you were going to win that game, like a board game with your family or something, or friends, would you still want to play just for the sake of it? But I think that in this case, you're gaining more than just watching a movie, playing a board game, reading a book. You're gaining more wisdom, more desire. Now I'm thinking of like when you play Mario Kart and you start like collecting all those little like things along the track. They're like power-ups or something. And that it's also okay if you take some time to grieve the loss of the desire for whatever it was that didn't turn out the way that you were expecting it to, that didn't maybe last as long as you had imagined it would. And how you will build more trust with yourself in this next chapter of your life, the Lovers. You know, it's interesting that that is in conjunction with family, loyalty, communication. Whether you have a love interest in your life, someone on your heart, on your mind, in your energy, or if this is the love that you are building with yourself, I think that the message here is that you are going to build more trust with yourself by opening your heart to receiving more love from the universe, from the people around you, from random strangers who want to open the door for you, from animals who come up to you to say hello, from the sun shining down on you, that you're building a language that's personal to you, that no one can take from you. That like this feeling of, oh, I've had things taken from me, even things that I really wanted, like my dreams or aspirations, even relationships, that you are building trust with yourself by realizing that you can't take away your softness and the way that you have your heart open to that like abundant source, that abundant fountain, the well that is in you. This water here. And your connection to yourself. I'm doing this. Your connection to yourself is going to make you feel more supported, more trusting. And now I'm hearing the song like Free Falling. Who is that by? It's like Free Falling. I can't remember. That's a good song. Maybe there's a message for you in there. Thank you so much for being here, Pile 1. I think that you are already on a great trajectory. And I would love to know in the comments how this resonated for you, what things came up for you, any insights that you had along the way. And I would love to support you more on your journey of building trust with yourself, designing your dream life. I have a discount for my personal readings as well as one-on-one mentorship right now during this season of hibernation, turning inward through the end of the year up until December of 2025. So if you're watching it this from now until then, I would love to be a part of your journey. Thank you so much for being here. Love you. Bye. Hello, Pile 2. If you chose this Pistachio Calcite, then this is your reading. I'm going to go ahead and lay out these cards. This first card is going to represent your current level of trust with yourself. This card is your higher level of trust, or your higher self's trust with you. Then this is what's blocking your trust with yourself and how you will build more trust with yourself. Then we will do some clarifying cards later on. So your current level of trust, you get self-esteem, and your higher self gets the mountain. Check in the spacing. I am on a vacation and my setup is a little bit funky right now. And there's the refrigerator. Okay. Then what's blocking you? Okay, number 69, I am brand new. Teenage me, childhood me, baby me, source. Yellow warbler, this is how you're going to build more trust with yourself. Joy, celebration, creativity. Okay. So what I'm seeing for your relationship or your current level of trust with yourself is that you might be feeling like you lack confidence. You might feel like, in order to do these things that I really want to do, or in order to be the person who gets the things that I desire, I have to have like this certain level of confidence, this certain like level of self-esteem. And it's kind of keeping you in this loop of I can't have what I want, or I can't be who I want to be until this point. It's kind of like when you like put the mile marker out in front of you and then you keep trying to get there, but then you, just as you're about to reach that point, or just as you reach that point, then you set the marker further ahead. And you never really let yourself enjoy reaching success or reaching a sense of satisfaction that you have achieved something. And that has kept you lacking in a level of trust with yourself. It's not that you don't have any trust with yourself, because you have actually achieved a lot. You have made it really far in working on your dreams or moving towards things that you want to do. Like if you look back at your life and reflect on where you were even just last year, even just a month ago, you're like, oh, you know what? Like I've actually knocked it out of the park. I've done this and this and this. It might be hard for you to see, but if anybody else were looking at your life, they would be like, whoa, like, you did all of that? Or now I'm thinking of the quote from She's the Man that's like, as a third-party outsider with absolutely no personal well, I can't remember exactly how it goes, but then with absolutely no personal interest in the matter. There we go. With absolutely no personal interest in the matter, and then proceeds to give her like very biased opinion. And as a third-party outsider with absolutely no interest in the matter, I'm going to give you my very, I don't know you personally. Most likely. Maybe I do. And what I will say is that you're a rock star, that you actually have this layer of trust that's kind of like under the surface or in the clouds. And what you're trying to do right now is bring it back down to earth. Get it to feel real to you, feel like it's tangible, and that it's not something that you're constantly trying to chase after. Yeah. And your higher self, the mountain. Let's read what it says about the mountain in the book. Moment of truth. Look for the gift in the challenge. A mountain appears in front of you as your spirit prays for a vision. This is a time for action, daring, and great potential. You may not know exactly where you are going right now, but you do know what you need to keep moving. You know within your heart that you must travel into the unknown. You must lose yourself and move away from your comfort zone to break free. Right now, you don't need a big plan or an answer for everything. Trust that the path will appear as you start to move. Take the first step, then take the next, and so on. Focus on the obstacle ahead of you and not on the entire mountain. When doubt starts to rise, look within your heart and remember why you started. This is the most important thing you need to carry within your heart to reach the top. Your intention to find a vision for your life. Don't rush, but also don't procrastinate. There is still time, but there is no time to waste. Stepping out of your comfort zone, this is when it's in balance. Finding your path and daring greatly. I think that your higher self, where you are when you're in like that very aligned place, is you're like this lamb floating on the cloud. You've got a lot of cloud imagery here. That you aren't so concerned about how you're getting there, like it was saying in that little passage, that you're just taking it one step at a time, that you already know that you're going to reach your destination. That you feel this sense of leisure and enjoyment and enthusiasm for being on the path in and of itself. It's like, why do people go on a hike? Like, yeah, it's to reach the top, but it's also just to go on the hike. It's just to walk. Just to walk up the mountain, right? And that, sure, they could get like flown up there, or like I don't know, teleported if we had that type of magic. But oh goodness, a big yawn. I think that your higher self is just a lot more relaxed and trusting that it's all working out. That your higher self feels, actually these flowers and this crown remind me of Tangled. And Rapunzel says that it's her dream to go and find out, like, what are those lanterns? But she doesn't know that they're lanterns at the time. Then after she goes on that whole journey and finds out what they are and their meaning and discovers more of who she is, then it's like things start to click into place. And then she has a new dream. And I think that your higher self acknowledges the path that you've been on and how all of those things that you've been doing are like the little portals that you've been passing through, now I'm thinking of like when you run a marathon or some other race and you have like those little check-in stations where they'll like give you a cup of water and a little snack or something, and they're just like little people encouraging you along the way, that your higher self sees things from like a higher perspective, and isn't stressed about you getting to the top of the mountain, isn't stressed about you they're just along for the ride. They're enjoying the process of it. And I know that this message is coming out kind of all over the place. I think that that's part of the message as well, that sometimes you are more in your flow and it feels really smooth, and then other times it's like you're on a raft riding the rapids and you're feeling like you're about to get tossed overboard. And the trust that your higher self has for you and your journey, even for this current version of you, is just like, yeah, it's okay, like we'll get back in the raft, we will keep floating down the river, or like, yeah, you scraped your knee, that's okay, like we'll clean it up and keep carrying on up the mountain. And it's not to diminish what you're experiencing, but it's more that all of those things that you have been experiencing add to the richness of your journey, of your human experience. Yeah. As for what is blocking you right now to have more of that sense of like serenity and tranquility, honestly, this vibe is kind of giving, oh my gosh, now I'm forgetting what his name is, Uncle Iroh from Avatar, The Last Airbender. If you haven't seen that show, definitely recommend at least go check out Uncle Iroh, because he is one of the best characters of that show. Okay. He would just stop on the side of the road to have tea with somebody. He's not in a hurry. I am brand new, teenage me, childhood me, baby me source. Okay, so for what's blocking you, I think that sometimes you get very hung up on like a particular aspect of your journey, or you will worry that some part of your past, some part of your history, your story is going to ruin it for the rest of us. Your energy is so funny. It's cracking me up. Do you guys know that reference? It's from, it's comedian Jeff Foxworthy. And he says, he's like talking about his family and how they would just like go and grab things off of the cart in a hotel and they're like, what are you doing with all of that? And they're like, Christmas presents. And then someone else says, thanks for ruining it for the rest of us. Anyway, I don't know why I'm telling you that. Maybe you have a funny family. Maybe that's part of your backstory. And what is blocking you is believing that all of these aspects of you are not a part of the whole. That you might be cutting off some of your shadows, some of your emotions, some of your story in order to fit into a certain environment, or because you don't believe that it's lovable. And this source aspect of you, this is where you came from, and the baby version of you was the closest version of you, and then we just got further and further away, but we still have that in us. Something that is blocking you is a fear of your innocence. Maybe people have called you like naive or innocent or childish. Maybe they've called you whatever labels you've been given or aspects of yourself that have been condemned or considered to be too much or not enough. Those parts of you are asking for love, and that's a way that you're going to be able to build more trust. So the card that is intended for us to look at how you're going to build more trust with yourself is this yellow warbler: joy, celebration, and creativity. Yeah, I think that you're being invited to reconnect with some of those inner child, inner teenager, even the baby aspect of you. Like, what would those parts of you do to be creative, to celebrate, to have joy? What did you like to do when you were a kid? To throw your birthday party, or did you have a birthday party? Could you have one now? However old you are, even if it's not your birthday, find some reason to celebrate. And that giving yourself these little milestones or moments to look forward to and then following through for yourself, I think that is a way that you could build some more trust with yourself, to show your body that it's safe to feel joy, that it's safe to play and be creative, to open up to new opportunities of exploration. Yeah. All right, let's look at some clarifying messages on where you're at right now in terms of trust. This is from the Woodland Fairy Tale Tarot deck. Thank you so much for being here and supporting me. I am so grateful for everybody who likes, gives me a like, a comment. I love to know how this resonates with you. Oh boy, we got a runner. And all the ways that you support me. I really appreciate it. All right, let's find out what that's for your higher self, and a way to build more trust with yourself. I'm really curious about that card on the ground. Oh, there we go. All right, I'm ready to pause this for a second. Okay, I retrieved the escapee and laid everything out. We have the Hermit for how you are feeling right now. This is the one that fell on the floor. So your trust with yourself, this honestly fits quite well with the vibe that I was feeling for self-esteem, that you might be in a place right now where you're trying to figure out how much of yourself you want to give to your dreams, to give to the things that matter to you. You might feel like there have been moments where you have like moved in the direction of something that you cared about, something that you wanted, and it hasn't gone according to plan, or it has demanded more of you than you expected, and that might have made you retreat back into your shell a little bit. And I think that maybe right now you are in a place of kind of that the vibe I'm getting from this card is like reassessing, establishing your why of, okay, what do I want and why do I want it? Determining your course of action and what your next step is. And that honestly, it's okay to, the phrase is like lick your wounds, or comfort yourself. That, I mean, this plays into the like inner child, baby aspects of you, that you are your parent and you have all aspects of what it means to be a human in you. And you're finding ways to offer yourself that empathy and compassion, and also create some boundaries around, okay, like in this way I was extending myself too much, or in this way I think that I could push myself a little bit harder. I think that I could take a little baby step out in this direction and see how it goes. And I will catch myself if I fall. As for your higher self, the Magician, that makes sense. Your higher self is hanging out like Aladdin, just sitting pretty, has the genie in hand, can make some wishes. I think that your higher self is telling you that this might be a funny reference, but it's making me think of like turning water into wine, Jesus type of vibes, that you're learning the tricks of the trade. You're learning what it means to alchemize your experience, and that you're seeing ways that you have done that in the past, that your higher self is like pointing you towards that. And like when you connect with that energy, it feels very potent, palpable. It feels like sitting on a chaise lounge, somebody's feeding you grapes, fanning you, and you don't have a care in the world. I think that message is about you allowing yourself to experience more that ignites a sense of pleasure and sensuality. That part of building that trust with yourself, or part of your higher self's pleasure system, is what I'm hearing, is that sensual, carefree, I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm thinking of Aladdin's vibe, and it's not that he didn't care, but he had this way of, this is the phrase I'm hearing, subverting the expectations of the system. Like, if you think about the song One Jump Ahead, he knew what he needed to get where he wanted to go. And while yes, I'm not suggesting that you go around stealing, okay? That's not what I'm saying. But it's like he knew what his gifts were. He knew, like, he has this sense of like charm, and he was a street rat. He knew the streets. I think that you are tapping into some of this, whatever makes you you, whatever came from your past, and you're flipping it on its head. Like, back to that whole alchemy thing, that maybe you did have a tough, rough and tumble past, that there was something in your history that it doesn't look so good on paper, but you're able to flip it and use the power of it. Now I'm thinking of the movie The Blind Side, and how in the beginning everyone saw him, the like main guy, as just like this dumb, big oaf, basically, that like, and then they start testing him and he doesn't really know anything. But one teacher does see his potential, and she sees that he is very street smart. So maybe you're really street smart. Maybe you have a lot of wisdom that other people don't have in terms of how to get around in the world. Now I'm thinking of like Pretty Woman. So yeah, maybe you have a way of taking care of yourself when no one else did. And that is something that your higher self has so much, like, that's why your higher self trusts you so much. You've always been there for yourself. Whoa, those are some powerful messages. So something that is blocking you from this lane, from being the magician that you definitely are, from feeling like the magician that you are, is it goes back to the emotions. You might be cutting yourself off from your emotional experience in some way. That maybe you will avoid things that would trigger you. Maybe you will only allow yourself to feel certain emotions and not other ones. Alternatively, if you are somebody who is like quite an emotional person and allows yourself to, cry, to feel the feels, that something that could be blocking you is seeing that as a limitation. So it's rooted in the same thing, is that you have a belief that somehow your emotions are a weakness or are holding you back from what you want, that if you feel or express your emotions, that you're going to be too vulnerable, that you're going to not be able to protect yourself as much. And that is blocking you from being able to fully integrate all of you and have that complete level of magician level trust with yourself. So how you will be able to fully get to this magician is through this Queen of Swords. So it's not just the song Sit Still Look Pretty came to my mind. You're getting a lot of references. It's not just about following some like prescribed rule book. You're allowed to break the rules. I mean, that kind of goes back to the whole Aladdin thing. That you're finding a way, that this is how you're going to build trust with yourself. To notice when you have given your power to somebody else, that you have outsourced that trust, outsourced that feeling of, oh, I need validation from this person. I need confirmation from them. And now you're able to get it from yourself. That you don't have to, like, whether that's from like a personal one-on-one relationship, or if it's from a religion or a school system, a workplace. Like, let's say you have a project that you're working on, and normally to do something that was like coloring outside the line, so to speak, you would have to go to a supervisor. But instead, you just do the thing. It's kind of giving the energy of don't ask for permission, ask for forgiveness. Oh no, there's some interesting messages, and I hope that all of you aren't just gonna go out and start being like very reckless. I don't think that you are. I think that you are quite intelligent and savvy when it comes to, I think that you have known how to toe the line for a long time, and that you have been towing the line for a long time, and that this reading is showing you a way that you can live on the edge a little more, live on the wild side a little more. That maybe you can speak up more in a meeting or in your relationship and share your actual opinion. Maybe it's okay to feel that frustration or anger or whatever and find a way to direct that into something that you care about. Whether that's by learning to do Tai Chi or kickbox, or whether it's like channeling it into something for school or work or your own personal dream project. Yeah. I think that you have a lot of energy that's kind of been hanging out under the surface. I said this before, under the surface and in the clouds. And you're kind of gathering it all together. And it is going to be so powerful, not only in having that trust with yourself, but in making your reality, like transforming your reality. Thank you so much for being here, Pile 2. It has been so fun to do this reading for you. I am grateful that you have been here, and I would be so grateful if you would like or comment, subscribe, check out the links below. I'm offering a discount from now until the end of the year at 2025 for my personal readings, as well as mentorship, one-on-one mentorship that is completely tailored to your experience, whatever your needs are, whatever's coming up for you right now. And we can talk about building trust with yourself. We can talk about love, relationships, career, anything you want or need. I would truly love to support you on your journey. Thanks so much for being here. Love you. Bye. Hi, Pile 3. If you chose this tree agate, then this is your reading. Welcome. Okay, so this first card is going to represent your current level of trust with yourself. Then over here we have your higher self level of trust with you. Then this card represents what is blocking you from having this level of trust with yourself. And then this one is how you will build more trust with yourself. Let's get into it. Okay, 5, individuality. And then your higher self, the graveyard. This is gonna be interesting. I didn't say I was interesting. I said I was into resting. Oh. Okay. Then as for what what's blocking you. Good. Just been looking at screens a lot. Okay. And how you will build more trust with yourself. Blackbird, hidden potential, defense, assertiveness. Oakley dokley. So, your current level of trust with yourself, individuality. I think that you are in a place of accepting more of your authentic voice, of who it is that you are, the parts of yourself that have always been with you, and the parts of yourself that you want to carry with you throughout your life. That you're kind of doing this little like dividing process or sorting. Now I'm thinking of the sorting hat of like, which house do I belong in, or which, maybe you've been doing a lot of like, what are my values, which Enneagram type am I, which personality types do I have, and really defining your sense of self more clearly than you have in the past, and that's helping you to build a sense of trust with yourself, to build an awareness of I'm hearing like where your home is, your center within yourself. Now I'm actually thinking of the movie The Parent Trap, and when the two girls, they realized that they had been separated from each other, and then they both want to know the parent that they hadn't known for their entire lives. And the feeling is kind of like there are aspects of you that have been calling for your attention, or maybe you had been very heavily in your masculine energy for a long time, and now you're getting to know the more feminine aspects of you, or how those manifest, or vice versa, or just doing it more consciously, being more aware of what is a feminine aspect of me versus what is a masculine aspect of me, and how do I want those to serve me in my life. Same thing with even like your astrological signs of, oh, I'm a Libra, and this is how that manifests for me, and this is how I could better support myself in these ways. Your higher self has the Graveyard. Okay, let's read about the Graveyard. Moment of acceptance. This too will pass. You've reached a graveyard, and it's time to bow your head and accept the truth of what is happening. There are times when fighting is necessary, and times that simply require contemplation and acceptance. But to reach acceptance, you must allow yourself to feel your feelings and embrace the experience. The only way out is going through. Maybe there is something in your little heart that hasn't fully healed. Maybe a relationship ended a while ago. Maybe you lost a loved one. Maybe a friend was disloyal, or maybe a dream came to an end without you getting the closure you needed. You've been putting a pin in all these emotions until you've they've become a graveyard of unresolved situations. Well, today the universe asks you to visit this graveyard and gift yourself the closure you need. Acceptance doesn't mean being okay with what happened, but knowing that you will be okay from now on. It is looking at the past not as a burden, but as a lesson, honoring everything that was and letting it rest in the past as you start to rebuild your future. Acceptance is allowing yourself to see the silver lining in every situation, and it is an act of love for yourself. Even though you may have loved dearly, you must love yourself too. But it is not easy to accept and move on. It requires courage and a lot of love. So be patient, let yourself feel it, and go through this moment with grace. Grieve, if necessary, for the life that no longer unfolds, for the relationship that didn't work out, for the person you once were. It is okay to feel it all. In balance, accepting, surrendering, feeling grateful, having closure. What I'm gathering from this is that your higher self has space for all of your wounds. That it's like you can lay the tragedies of your life, the grief, the pain, at the feet of your higher self for them to carry, that you don't have to do it alone, so to speak. Like, it is you, but it's not. It doesn't have to be the version of you that was hurt in the past, if that makes sense. It's kind of like, I wouldn't expect a child to, like, I wouldn't talk to a child about managing my finances or healing from a breakup, or like I would need to give it to them in terms that they could understand and that was age appropriate for them. And there might have been things from your past that were not age appropriate, were not things that anyone should have to go through, but your higher self has the capacity to see them from a higher perspective with like more love and patience and acceptance. And that trust that you can place in your higher self, and that your higher self sees in you being able to move along your path to, it's like, surrender this to me, surrender this to, you don't have to hold this anymore. That like sometimes we can get really fixated on one point in our story. And of course, like the passage was saying, feel what you went through. Now I'm hearing like draw your picture, play. I'm thinking of like child therapy, like the type of therapy that you go through when, like, if you had gone through something traumatic as a child and were going into therapy as a child, do some of those things that would be healing and relieving, but your higher self is that more gracious, abundant part of you that isn't weighed down by the pain. And it's not that your higher self doesn't care. It's that your higher self it's kind of like even just like when you're reflecting on something from your past that no longer hurts you, and you're like, you know, it's so funny how big of a deal that seemed at the time, how important that was to me. And like you can go back to that, you can go back on to it in your mind and your experience and remember why it mattered to you, but it doesn't hit you in the same way because you have a new perspective. I feel like I had one of those earlier today where I was like, man, that felt like such a big deal to me. And your higher self is like that, but like times a million. Just saying, like, I got you. I'll fight your battles for you. Type of a thing. Like, not saying you can just like give up and be like, I don't gotta do anything. But more like this part of you, this aspect of you, you can invite that in because it's still you. You can invite that in and it will support you in those times when you are feeling muddled, confused. Or like nothing will be okay again. It's interesting. I'm feeling kind of that just like melancholy or just a little bit not really sad, but just kind of like, Whereas in the pile 2, I was cracking jokes a lot. So if you are feeling weighed down, I'm just sending you lots of love. So something that might be holding you back could be screens. Could be feeling like you have a lot of stimuli being thrown at you, lots of opinions, lots of he said, she said, lots of trying to process more information than any one person should have to. And it's making it hard to know which voices you should listen to. It might be hard to find your own voice in the mix of all the noise. But you also have 44, which is a number of stability, foundation, protection, and it's reminding you that you do have a lot more of a solid foundation to go back to, that you have a way to clear your energy from the noise at any time. And like, let's say you do turn off your phone, you do, turn off the news, turn off all of the input that you're experiencing, and you do something that's just for you. You create some stillness in your life and create a little sanctuary for yourself to be able to hear yourself more clearly. Because I think what's blocking you is just that it's your voice has gotten a little muddled in all of that, what feels like a lot of chaos. And how you're going to build more trust with yourself: hidden potential, defense, assertiveness. I think that it's by realizing that you have so much more power, capability, awareness, presence, a strong presence, than you realize. And that to be able to assert yourself, to be able to have those like strong boundaries and communicate yourself with clarity will build such a fortress of trust with yourself that every single time you stand up for yourself, your inner child, your inner teenager, all the parts of you that felt like they were neglected or abandoned or no one was there for them, are like receiving a little bit of healing, a little bit of that balm that like washes over you and reminds you that you have your back. You have your back. And that within that assertiveness, as you become more clear on and find your voice again, you're going to unlock that hidden potential. You're going to remember things that you used to care about that you had forgotten. You're going to unlock powers and your personal brand of magic, your personal weirdness, and not be afraid to share it. Because you're going to want to defend other people who experienced things like you did. You're going to want to be like that warrior spirit. That's kind of what I'm getting from this as well. Like your higher self has like this strong angel warrior spirit. And that you want to defend people who have been taken advantage of or hurt, especially in the types of ways that you were, or the people that you loved have been. That whatever you're advocating for, and that as you see yourself going to the defense of these types of people, it's actually healing that trust with you, with yourself, because it's like that whole quote that says you're becoming the person that your younger self needed. Yeah. Okay, now we're gonna get some clarifying tarot. This is from the Woodland Fairy Tale Tarot. Where are you right now? We have the Nine of Wands, It's interesting how I've done this reading. I usually would do like the same section at a time, but I've done it a little differently this time. Okay, and then how about your higher self? Oh, you got 2 cards. Your higher self is going higher. Higher. Now I'm hearing soaring, flying. There's not a star in heaven that we can't reach. Yeah, we're flying. Now we're breaking free. Okay. And then how are you going to, or what is blocking you right now? Oh my gosh. This is the one. Oh, ye Knight of Swords. Excuse me while I adjust this. And last but not least, what will help you to build more trust with yourself? I'm so grateful that you are here supporting me, and I am appreciative of everybody who gives me a like, subscribes, leaves a comment letting me know how it resonates. I love having conversations with you guys in the comments. Okay, let's see. I'm excited to get into this. So as for where you are right now, you might be laying low a little bit as you're doing this like sorting process of discovering more about your own individuality, your sense of self, your authenticity. You might be resting. What was that I just heard? Well, I heard resting bitch face, which was like, some people in the past might have placed certain narratives on you about like, oh, she isn't a very nice person, he isn't a very nice person, they aren't a very nice person, because of these certain reasons. And it's kind of like you're reclaiming how you show up and doing it less for like needing to put on a mask, needing to, like slap on a smile just because people might think you're rude if you don't. Or alternatively, feeling like you need to like have this defensive posture everywhere that you go. And that you are able to actually drop your guard more. You're able to be in a like softer energy because you're more secure in yourself. You do have more trust in yourself, and in that trust you're able to then command more respect from others. Interesting. Okay. And then as for your higher self, we have the 2 of Swords and the 10 of Wands, which normally are not the most like hunky-dory, happy cards. But what I'm reading from these is that your higher self, like it goes back to like we were reading with the graveyard, your higher self is comforting you. Your higher self is there when you're sick, when you're crying. It's kind of like becoming your ultimate romantic partner, becoming your own best friend, the person that you would want to go to tell the most exciting news to. And it's like, oh, I can't wait to write this in my journal, or like, I can't wait to go and do like this sacred ritual that I have with myself where I go to my favorite coffee shop and like look out this window, like, you know, whatever it is that's like your thing, and you just kind of relish in it. And all of those little rituals that you've built with yourself, your higher self is allowing you more space to fall apart and also to play. It's kind of like the masculine energy creates the structure, creates the ow, just hit my foot on a chair, creates the word I'm hearing is scaffolding, so that the feminine energy can be free to roam and play and create, and that your higher self has created that for you, that trust is ultimately like that inner harmony and balance of those two parts of you, and that it isn't so much like you have to be divided, like, oh, at one part of my day I am this version of myself, and at one part of my day I am this version of myself. It's that you get to bring your whole self to your whole life, that is this higher level of trust version of you. Okay, so what is blocking you from that version of you? A Knight of Swords. I'm hearing like going in guns a-blazing or recklessness. And that might not be you. That could be like going back to this, like, oh, goodbye. Listening to other people and their opinions of who you are and what you should be doing. And so the Knight of Swords is kind of like the person who just comes in with all of these opinions or plans or expectations, And instead of you feeling like you can just be like, shoo, like, shoo fly, don't bother me. Like, go on. Like, I don't need your opinion. It could be even like friends or family, people that you love and have the best of intentions, but are just like throwing their 2 cents in, and it's kind of muddying the waters, distracting you from your course of action, that you actually do know where you want to go, and you have quite a bit of trust in that. But sometimes when someone that you care about comes in, they seem like they have a lot of confidence and like they know what they're talking about, is like, hey, listen to me. And you might get distracted by that for a minute, or feel like, oh no, like maybe I should listen to them. You might have that moment of second guessing yourself, because you are still practicing holding firm to your truth, your path. And this is 7 of Wands. This is how you're going to build more trust with yourself. And the message that's coming through is toss them in the fire. It is that whoever, whatever people, opinions, ideas that are not in alignment with you, be gone. Get rid of them. And that's not to say that you can't still love and respect those people, but it's like you're drawing this line in the sand of, okay, that is yours, that is your experience, that may have worked for you, but this is my experience, this is what I'm doing. I'm not going to earn money in that way, or I'm not going to take those classes, I'm not going to date that person just because you say so, just because you think that it's a good idea. Like, if I truly tried to listen to every single person's opinion and took it to be the God's honest truth, or the gospel of my life, the truth for me, then I would be, I would be running 12 different businesses and dating 900 people and, like, it would just be impossible, insane. And sure, you can listen to their advice with a grain of salt, with a level of distance, a level of, that's their story, and I'm appreciating it from over here. I might learn a thing or two about things that I could apply to my life, but it's not like I have to direct copy, or that if things aren't going exactly the way that they did for them, that I'm a failure, or that I need to drop things that I'm doing to try what they're offering. And that if I don't, I'm going to miss out. I think that what you're being invited to do, and again, I'm just another voice. So ultimately, like, this is an opportunity for you to turn into yourself, to reflect on your own voice, to remember that nobody else, including me, has the power to make decisions for you in your life, and that you are actually in a place of refining, defining who it is that you want to be. And right now it might feel a little bit muddled. There might be moments of confusion, and you can see those as like little pop-up ads. It's like, wait, do you want to try this? And you're getting better and better at being like, no, not for me, not for me, not for me, not for me. Oh yeah, I do actually really like that one, but I'm gonna do it like this instead. And your higher self is that like safe harbor for you to return to when it all feels really overwhelming, or when you're feeling really excited about something that you learned or want to try, that will celebrate you in the way that you want to be celebrated, because your higher self knows you the best, sees you perfectly, because they have been with you the entire time. Oh. Thank you so much for being here, Pile 3. I really appreciate being able to do this reading for you. It means so much to me. I would appreciate if you would like, comment, subscribe, check out the links down below. I'm offering a seasonal discount right now that is from now through the end of 2025, and is a great opportunity for you to get a personal reading with me or do one-on-one mentorship, and I can help support you in reconnecting with your intuition and building that trust with yourself. This season of tuning in to our selves and hibernating is such a good time to reflect on where we've been and where we want to go in the new year. Love you. Bye.